Come on, man. Come on, man. Tickets, yo. You gotta let it promote this shit. The tickets, man.
They wanted to say they started writing graffiti in 1952 or whatever year it was. You do the math, they weren't alive. You do the math, they were 2 years old. I finally started meeting a group of people that really were telling the truth, or most of it. No one's really always telling the full truth. And I decided, beyond just putting them in this, and Joe, if you want to come up here, come on up. Ash, if you want to come up, come on up. And Ian, since our time is limited, let's kick this off while they're coming up.
All right, Taki, while you're walking on up here, okay, we're gonna get into. We have to do a little bit of interrupting as we go.
All right.
All right, Taki, can you hear me? Do you have a mic on, Roger?
I got a mic.
Okay, good. So I wanted to ask a question about the Warhol comment in the film.
Hey, they're asking you a question.
I'm asking you a question. I know you can't see me, but you can hear me. They were talking about Warhol wanting to meet you, and that you didn't go ahead with that. Do you have any regrets on that, looking back? That sounds pretty crazy, the Warhol scene. The
Warhol thing?
Yeah. You still get asked about that?
Yeah, people
Because of Roger?
still ask me about it, and I wish I had met the guy. I didn't know he was going to die.
All right, where's Rocky at? Rocky! Hey, so, you got this? So before Wall Riders, how long had it been since everybody in your crew had seen each other? How many years had passed for you?
For me, it was like 35 plus years.
Well,
So it was amazing to see everybody and get together again.
and how, since this has all happened, how many times have you seen them in the last couple of years?
Quite often.
Yeah, it changes. A little bit
Quite
different.
often.
Is Coco up here with us?
Coco's right there.
There we go. It seems like you were the first to use a stencil. Can you tell us a little bit more about the decision, or how you came up with that in the first place, or how you gave that to everybody?
Really, it's what, 40-something years ago.
Yeah, you don't remember it?
Well, yeah, I do remember. I just wanted to do something different, something, that was fast. It was about, doing something unique. Damn, I'm just lost for words. I wanted to do something different.
Right.
Yeah, something.
Can you still do it?
Stencils?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, cool. Who else? Collector Kid up here? Do you have a story for us that we haven't seen yet? Off the top of your head? One of your crazy stories? We were supposed to ambush you with this question.
A quick one?
A quick one? A fast and crazy story?
Well, I tell this story a few times, and it was a story about I was in the military and heading down to North Carolina, and as you enter North Carolina, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to North Carolina, home of the KKK." So what I did, when I saw this, I pulled my car over, got out of the car, and put "Cool Klepto Kid." North Carolina, home of Cool Klepto Kid.
LSD and Joker are up here with us? Roger, you got, okay, so we'll split this question. Okay. All right, so is this the first time you've seen the movie? How can you talk to us a little bit about that experience?
I used to work in the film business and television, and I think it was well made, and I'm very proud of my my fellow graffiti writers, and I wish it was longer. There's so many stories and so many people to talk about. You can never include everybody, and I'm so happy that everybody's here today. And there's a lot of talent up here, a lot of history.
I think that's right. I think that's the first call we got for our sequel.
It's the first time I've seen the film as well, and I kind of wish it was a mini-series, just echoing, because there's so many people that are not, really interviewed that should be, that are foundational to graffiti. You got these guys up here who are my idols, but there are a lot of other people out there, so make a part two.
There's so many people we wanted to put put in this movie, and there was honestly only so much time, so many finances, and we could only make the movie so long. Hopefully someone else will follow and do something else.
Did you just pass the buck there?
Yeah, I just passed it. But we have Undertaker Ash right here too, who was really hard to find. So happy he's here. He's never even seen the book till tonight. I want to know what this man thought. What'd you think?
Great.
And you want to say anything? No comment? All right. We tried. But this is Undertaker Ash. Yeah, original.
Right. So I'm gonna. This is tough with only a couple minutes left, but I'm gonna open up the hardest question that I think the film raises almost, which is Philly or New York first? Does it matter who did it first?
You're in the wrong city.
Yeah, I know. These are leftover. No. You want to throw that to? 215. Do you want to go ahead?
215.
I don't know who did it first, but I'll just say that we did it. We did it.
I think that we were going to all be here together, right, Roger?
Mr. Lewis, what do you think? You're Philly.
Straight Philly. Hey, you know what? It's more or less the whole feeling of Philadelphia and my comrades. We don't care who started it. You see what I'm saying? All we worry about is what we did, and we know we made our impact, and that's it. And we always give straight up props to New York.
But I think Cornbread does care who started it. I see by the grin on his face right now. I'm going to give you the mic, but you got to keep it short.
Promised.
No offense, but New York knows where it started at. Isn't that right? Any objections? Well, had it not been for Cornelius Hosey, I don't believe this culture never started. Cornelius Hosey was shot and killed. They called him Corn.
Chris, you gonna come up here? Oh, there you are. Come here. Give me the short answer of who Top Cat is and what it is. I'm gonna count. This is Freedom, who helped with the film.
For those of you that don't know, Top Cat 126 bought the Broadway style of writing to New York, which was also the Philly style. And Top Cat landed in the projects on 126th Street with his brother, who's a terrific guy and who's still alive and doing well. And about 70 or 71, they started going to Philadelphia. That's where they would spend their summer. And that's where they learned Broadway style, which eventually came to New York. And that's the legend of Top Cat. Sadly, he died at a very young age. So, you know, that's a shame. But his brother is still around, living in Chicago. And there's more about him in the book.
Oh, good throw.
Thank you to Facebook. Chris found Top Cat's brother, and we've learned the real story of Top Cat. And then in the front of the book, in the introduction, there's a little quarter page. There's a great photo of Top Cat and this story. I want to ask Joker a question. You're one of the first guys with an actual icon to go with your name. How did you come up with that?
I do have an answer, unlike Coco. It's called creative pressure. There was no way that I was gonna be in the street and hanging out like Ash and Coco and Taki and these cats, you know, and Flowers, and you know. So I just decided that if I could put my name someplace and people could recognize it and see that it was different, then I was satisfied. That was it. It didn't start out with the whole afro, because I've never had an afro in my life. It really started out and was an evolutionary process, a crown, you know, a cone, and then all that other kind of stuff, and it evolves, you know. But it was called creative pressure. You try to be recognized, so you come up with different things.
So Ash didn't want to really say much, but I still want to give it to him. Coco, Joker, you want to say anything about Ash?
Ash also played music, and he brought a lot of music into. Was playing music before the culture started, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I want to add that.
I've known Ash for over 45 years. Ash is probably one of the most famous underground DJs in New York City. Ash, rock and roll outlaws. Ash is as quiet as it's kept, and I don't know if you know this. There's another guy who was, everywhere Ash had his name on a light pole, there was a guy named Nemeth that had his name on a light pole. And they were competing, you know. So Ash is, you know, Ash is legendary, you know, probably more from the music scene, working with one of the probably greatest DJs, Flowers of Flowers and Dice, who was a DJ, you know, that is in New York City.
Thank you.
laz-ar, 45 years later, how does this feel, all of you?
It's actually pretty amazing that all of this has come full circle. I don't think any of us would have ever expected when we first started that we would still be talking about this, thinking about this, and that someone would go to all the effort to track all of us down all over the world, you know, to make a movie about it. So my hat's off to Roger. It feels pretty damn good. Yeah.
You still have your ex-Vandals jacket?
I do.
Do you still fit in it?
Hey, Ray!
You look like you do.
Just as close. Okay, and we're wrapping up with Snake One and the question about what it was like being in a crew back then. At the beginning of the film, we saw a lot about that. Is there anything you want to add for that?
Well, one thing being in a crew was you got to meet other crews, and also we were mentioning before about who was first, but the most important thing that we all here standing together as one big family after so many years and keeping it alive. And especially thanks to Roger Gastman for his tremendous work and everyone who was involved in this project.
Thank you. And Snake and Coco here, you know, they stuck in it with the art for a long time. They're still producing. They're still making great paintings. You know, a lot of these guys are. There's a lot of the guys too from the film that you saw. They're going to come up for the next Q&A. So, you know, again, too many to name, but I want to thank them all. I want to thank all the other Philly guys that came. I got a question for you. What did the elephant cage smell like?
What did the elephant cage smell like? I wasn't in the cage, I was on the outside. I was in the pit. It smelled like elephant.
Good. It smelled like elephant.
I think that about.
So I want to say one really sad thing. Hectad wrote in the bathroom. That was a real dick move. Please don't write in the bathroom. Yeah, you know, we paid to rent the place. We paid to do this. We paid to make the movie. Like, it sucks when people do that. Don't do it.
Go check out the.
Go do it outside. So there's the books out there. Grab a book. Tell your friend. iTunes Monday. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Until Roger came. The only one I really showed stuff to when Hugo Martinez had me take pictures, we weren't United Graffiti Artists. I took over about almost close to 1,000 pictures of slides. And once in a while, if you guys look on Instagram, Hugo puts them up. He puts like one at a time, you know, sneaks them in. So those are my slides. So yeah.
So you know how many he really got.
Right. So thanks to Roger, we're here with the book and film, and I want to thank him for everything. Next case.
So, Obama, you sold one of the first paintings ever. What's it like? What's the quick answer of the feeling of selling one of the first paintings ever of graffiti?
It was great.
You asked for a quick answer.
No. I second to sell. Nico was first. I was second. Faze was third. And they gave the complete check over. So the gallery didn't even really take any money from us. You know, they got gears off the top, and when they handed that check right to the guy, handed him the check, he handed us the check, and it was wonderful.
What did you spend your money on? All right, you guys can figure that out. What's it like the first time you saw this movie, Jack?
Yeah, well, the first time I saw the movie, I was really impressed. I mean, I know I was out there doing this. I just didn't know everybody else was out there doing it either. I thought I started this whole thing, but I guess I wasn't alone. But no, it's dynamite, man. I wish we could make, like somebody said, a miniseries about this thing. You know, I'm ready. I got my mark in my pocket. Thanks a lot, Roger.
Thank you.
Next question for Henry. How long had it been before Wall Riders got started, you met Roger, before you had seen, how long had it been since you had seen any of the people that were involved or from your past?
Well, it's been, the way I met Roger was through Mike 171, and I've been in California because I was out, I've been out for a long time. I was on a long extended vacation, you know, and then when I came out, I was in California working with youths. And it's the name of the organization, UP, United States, Take the Hood to Save the Hood. And that Mike met Roger and my name came up. So Mike had Roger meet me and it took from there, this is what's happening. And Roger, I would like to give you money, many thanks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm down with you all the way till the wheels fall off.
Thank you.
Back like a backpack.
Thank you. What's it like reconnecting with all these guys after so long?
Huh?
What's it like reconnecting with all these guys after so long?
Wow. They're still the same, man. They're still the same. We're all the same, man. You know? And I'm getting lost and mixed up with words, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Michael Lawrence, come here. This guy shot so many of the great early UGA photos. What's it like? What's it like seeing all these photos get so much life again years later?
So many people just came to me and said, "Here, you got to photograph this," and I didn't know. I just went out and they said, "Document this." Okay. You know, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where this was going. I didn't know anything about it. I was dumb and happy. You know, I love every minute of it. It's so good for me.
Gotta say, after UGA came Noga, and this man was part of the crew that ran Noga. It was Jeff Helsinger and Michael Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to get in two groups, and Noga was the group that brought everybody out, okay? We got legitimately, we painted trains for the first time. That's what happened with Naga. They got legitimately, they talked to the MTA and they said, yeah, we're gonna give you a train. And that's what happened. It was the first train that we legitimately painted.
One more little thing about Noga. I have to say this one. The guy who wrote this thing, Chris Pape, used to sit outside and want to come in and we would be like, no, you're too young, you can't come in here. We were having fun. And he was, and you know, he was so intent on being a part of Noga. And eventually he did become a part of Noga.
If it weren't for this guy, we wouldn't have a lot of that early footage. He had some crazy camera. It was actually impossible to get it transferred. He kept the slides. He put in the work. So a lot of the footage, the photos are to this guy right here.
Next question for Wicked Gary about your thoughts on how important it is to preserve the beginnings of graffiti like this.
Well, it's real important because this is something we're talking about 40 years old. And if it wasn't for guys like Mike Lawrence and people like John Nahr and you know, SJK and the folks that did manage to snap pictures that we're able to see now, there are no records of this stuff. It's all gone. All the mediums that we use, all the trains have been repainted. There is no physical evidence of this ever having existed if it wasn't for these photographs. So it's real important. And I give my deepest respect and the most love to these cats that did document, because without their efforts, none of us are sitting here today. And great job, Roger.
Thank you. There's nobody here from Philly. Everybody had to drive back to Philly, but you were going down to Philly early, visiting families. So I know there's the argument, who started it, and if Cornbread was on the stage right now, we know what he would say.
There is no doubt Cornbread would definitely say, I was the first, I started, okay? The cats from Philly Roger's correct. My mom's best friend was from Philly, so I used to go down as a youngster and hang with her in Philly. So I saw the co-development of both cities happening. I didn't really know Philly at the time, because at the time I couldn't really read most of that stuff. I was trying to decipher it, because it was totally different than New York. But it was something happening at the same time. So like Richie said in the film, it was kind of symbiotic, because they were both going on. We can't really say who was first, but I will tell you the guys from Philly say they were first, but New York is who did it the best, which is why we're worldwide.
So Taki said something really important to me. Taki often gets looked at as the first, and he was so humble, and he's like, I'm not the first. It's just the New York Times said it was, so you look back in the paper, the New York Times said it, it has to be real. How do you feel often being called the first? What do you usually say to people?
I just took it to a level where a lot of people saw it. It was a neighborhood thing at the beginning, and I just took it to where people who wrote about it saw it. And then when they wrote about it, well, everybody else saw it and took off from there.
Thank you. I don't think, I want to make it clear that Steve, SJK over here, he really was, as far as I know and anyone knows, the first graffiti writer out there really taking photos. It wasn't just a little snapshot. He knew what he was doing. He shot beautiful slides, beautiful photos. Thankfully, he still has so many of them and some great canvases. I'm really pleased. We're going to bring this book and this film to life February 10th in the Denver Mocha. We're going to do an entire show about all of this with a lot of the artifacts, a lot of the things we found, some things from these guys that are still out there, or some photos of them, or some things they won't know about, and they'll just see it and be surprised and happy, I hope. Quick.
Okay, I just thought about this, and I think the guys that were part of UGA will also acknowledge this. My dad was a big supporter, and he would come up to the studio and videotape us. I'm hoping at some point I can find some of that footage.
You're just telling me about this now? Come on. All right. Good. And Mike, this film, I mean, you really come across, you share some really personal stories with people that I don't think knew it. And it seems you've been to probably more of these screens than anyone else has. You've been to more of them than I have. You've been out there being a champion for the film, which is so great. And you got some jackets. And how does it feel to, tell that personal story, and what's it doing for you?
Well, first of all, I want to, first and foremost, thank God for allowing all of us to live all these years, 45 years. I'm 60 now, we did that 15, so 45 years of brotherhood right here. You know what I'm saying? This is family. You want to talk family, this is family. I want to thank my wife, my children, my crew, the squad uptown, my plumbing crew, New Era, mechanical, let me get a shout out. We keep the water flowing and the toilets flushing in New York City and all the other outside places. All right, but anyway, on that note, that's who I am. I shared my personal stories because I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic. I'm going on 30 years clean next June 2nd. The damage that was done to me, that I shared physically, I didn't want to live anymore. And if it wasn't for guys like Jose, Henry, Steve, that I could lean on when I didn't want to live anymore, tripping on acid and rocking back and forth on the roof, you know what I'm saying, ready to go. And they said, Mike, don't do it, man, because I didn't give a fuck, But then I started liking who I was, and life became important. And God blessed me through my wife and 2 children. That's a miracle I have them there today, So that's what's up, man. It's about coming from the heart. I don't want to take up the mic too long, but this is where we're at. I traveled. We started this on June 19th. No, January 19th. Up in Chicago, 0 degrees. 1 block away from Lake Michigan. Me and Steve flew up there, and 400 people.
400 people, 100 people turned away.
100 people inside
Museum of Contemporary Art, Chicago.
Come in, and people came in from Nebraska, all over, graffiti, right, Steve? And we stayed out till the 1, 2 in the morning, signing books and just kicking it with the people, man. And we said, damn, the book just came out, and that was the jump start. So here at the end of the year, we're ending the year. I've been to my man Pride had me over in London, England. My man Kent from Toronto. These guys, we're going to take it to another level and take it up to Europe. All right? We want to do that. But anyway, this is what's happening real quick. I got to announce this. We're doing an after party for all of us. 1 block up to 7th Avenue, 2 blocks down to 21st.
So, please, this film comes out Monday on iTunes.
A shout out to Kano and Stitch that passed. Kano, our brother, and Stitch. They were in the film, they're dead, they're gone. They're in our hearts forever. Thank you.